there are things, even though we talk about doom and gloom and despair about our community, there are some things that I see that represent tremendous rays of hope and possibility and strength and greatness that I see emerging. One of those things is that I see a lot of you, for example, are investing in the stock market, and because and that means a lot to me because as I've mentioned to you all before, the stock market is the number one wealth builder in America. Like that's literally where all the money is. And you take it from a guy who sat around and did nothing but look at research papers all day regarding how people get wealthy and how some people stay broke. And so if you were to ask me the number one variable that will determine if you're going to be wealthy or not one day, I would say, yeah, it's whether or not you participate in the stock market. I can tell you a lot about your wealth situation by whether or not you choose to be in the stock market. You choose not to be, then it's not hard for me to explain like what happened. Your money is in somebody else's pocket. And so the other thing that gets me going is when I see somebody, that's sort of an influencer that really has a realization in terms of what I refer to as financial consciousness. Financial consciousness is just awareness. It's sight. It's sort of like I figured things out. It's like when you have these epiphanies and you say, "Oh man, I didn't know they were doing this to me," or "Oh, I wish now I know what I was doing wrong," or "Now I know what I need to do better." And this is really important because one of the goals of anybody who wants to oppress us or anyone else, and anytime you want to oppress people, and the number one goal is to keep their consciousness low. That's why Iceberg Slim, when he talked about pimping, he basically said that he likes when his girls are giggling and when they're high and when they're drunk and things like that, because he knows that a giggly high drunk person is not going to be aware of their environment. They're not going to ask questions. They're not going to tell you to stop. They're not going to say, "Where's my money at?" They're not going to say, "What are you doing to me?" None of these things, right? So ultimately, if you want to be pimped and screwed and used and manipulated and stuff like that, then keep your consciousness low. If you want to win, if you want to succeed, if you want to be on top, and you want to make sure that you're getting the benefits of our society, then keep your consciousness high. It's up to you to decide how you want to approach this. But that also explains why from the very beginning, I called this class financial consciousness, because I said, I really need people to understand what that term means, what it really means to be financially conscious. It's just like being health conscious or relationship conscious, right? If I love my wife, I want to be conscious of how my wife feels. If I care about my health, I want to be conscious of how my health is doing. I want to be conscious of the things I need to do to improve my health. I need to be conscious of what I'm going to do today that's going to improve my situation, right? So consciousness is everything. So type the word conscious in the chat if you agree with me. Let me know if you agree with me. All right. So let me tell you all a secret. There's this guy, this rapper. He actually did a song with my cousin. Believe it. I got a cousin that's a rapper named Dre Priest out of Louisville, Kentucky. And Dre Priest, he's kind of, well, he's like the child of my play cousin. You got play cousins that you play with. So I used to play with his mama, not like that. Not like that. Not that kind of play. But we used to play together because his grandmama and my mama were best friends. And so they were two little nappy head teenage girls in Louisville, Kentucky, way back in the day. And you know how girls do sometimes. It's so amazing how their menstrual cycles sometimes will sync. And so literally they had their kids at the same time. So my mother had a baby and it was a boy, that was me. And then she had a baby, that was a boy. And then my mother had a baby that was a girl, and that was my sister. And then she had a baby that was a girl, and we were the same age. So when we were little, we would just go to our play cousin's house, and we would go and just I'd run. The boys were running one room, the girls were running another room, and so that's how I knew his mama. Well, one day I heard from her son, Dre Priest. He's out of Louisville. He's a cool dude. I love him. And he calls me. He calls me on the phone. And he says, "Yeah, but, he tells me who his mama is. I'm not gonna say everybody's names and stuff because I won't embarrass nobody." And I'm like, "Whoa, that you're her son? Oh my god!" So it turns out he's a rapper, right? Now he's kind of in that gangster space. He's, the lyrics. You got to cover your children's ears if you ever listen to his music. It's a little bit, but he also has a love for kids. He's a teacher, and he's just a good guy. I just like him a lot. Well, anyway, he did a song with this guy out of Detroit who's a little more famous, named Icewear Vizo. Icewear Vizo apparently is. Did anybody know? Anybody ever heard that name before? He's out of Detroit. And I love Detroit. I got friends in Detroit, and so I was really intrigued. I saw his video with I Swear Viso, and I was like, "That's cool. That's really a big deal." And he's like, "Yeah, it was a big deal." And so I became like kind of a follower of I Swear Viso. Why?